daycares in the back, Walmart. Where else do you think people go? Anybody can answer. Where else do people go? Agents. Even if you don't go, where have you heard others go? They go. I hear people go to here.
Health fairs?
Huh?
Health fairs?
Health fairs. Health fairs. How about doctor's offices? You never heard of an agent going to a doctor's office? How about a dental office?
Can we?
Yes, that's why we're talking. So that's why we're here learning. Where else could you go? Who else do you think you can meet? Or think about right now, who do you know that works with seniors? That works with people that have Medicare? Who do you know?
DMEs.
Medical equipment? Anybody else? I just want you to blurt out answers. Just give me some, say something.
So Health and Human Services.
Okay, Health and Human Services. Who at Health and Human Services would you think would be powerful to talk to? The caseworker. They're called caseworkers. I know there are agents that do have friends in Health and Human Services, and every time somebody comes in, they get denied. Hey, ¿sabes qué? Go talk to Irma. She can really help you. Here's her card. Go see Irma. She can help you. Dialysis clinics. We have agents that'll work with the counselors at the dialysis clinics so that they'll say, you know what? Maria Polo needs help. She's not going to get insurance. Can you help her? When they have dialysis, are they going to have Medicare? Yeah. They're going to get Medicare. So they can refer. But the reason why you want to know where you're getting your leads is because you want to know where you're getting the most bang for your buck. Where is it the most effective? Because if you're somewhere that's not giving you anything, but you keep going, taking cookies, you're taking tacos, you're going every 2 weeks, and you're spending money your money, do you think you should continue to go somewhere that's not going to give you anything? No, you shouldn't be going. But I will tell you, with referrals and any kind of person that you're working with, you can't just expect, like just say Nidia, she's a therapist, she's an occupational therapist or a respiratory therapist. Let's just pretend she's not an agent and I'm working with her and she's sending me for all her clients that, you know, that have therapy and they can't afford it with Medicare. They can't afford it 20%. So, and she sent me 10 people in a year. Do you think she's someone I should pay attention to and do something nice for her every once in a while? Absolutely. You need to remember who's helping you build your business so you help them. But if I go to Nidia and just say, hey, send me all your people, and I'm not doing anything with Nidia, for Nidia, I don't provide value to her, I just say, I help people with Medicare and that's it. Do you think she's going to send me anybody? She's not. You have to tell them, what are you going to do? At H-E-B and Walmart, if you haven't, or Michoacana, if you haven't talked to as many people in the pharmacy or the cashiers, if you haven't talked to them, that you realize those people care about the people going to their stores. But you have to find friendships. You have to make friends. You have to spend time showing people that you care. And if you do that, I promise you, more people will send you more referrals. So it's important to write down the referral source. It's important to know where you get your leads from. Okay?
On February 3rd, I'd like to point out we're going to be going over grassroots marketing. I'm going to dive deeper into finding your niche, building relationships.
It's a big deal. Who do you know? And it's okay to meet people that you don't know and build bridges with people you don't know. But if you're in Walmart and H-E-B, you should be building bridges with anybody you know in the store. Anywhere you're sitting at. I always tell this story, I've told you this story before. I was at a Walmart one day and I was standing on this side, and you know how they checkers on both sides? And the older checker on that side asked every single person that was going by that she knew had Medicare, because they looked older, she would ask them, ¿Tiene la tarjeta de seguro? She asked every single one, and it just blew my mind because she was asking, do you have the insurance? They help you. They help you. If I was in that store, that young lady, I would be taking her tacos, I would be taking her out to lunch, I would be helping that young lady, because she cares. Now, can you train somebody to care? You sure can. You can tell in the stores who goes above and beyond and who just does their job. You can see that in people. So you need to find those people. Who is helping, or who do you think was gonna, you know what, this person, let me just teach them a little bit and see if they learn. Just always plant those seeds. But the referral source is so important. And you need to track, and your whoever you're working with, Rosa, somebody was here from Irish last week. Was that you, Marifet? No, it was somebody on this side. Amparo, you need to make sure they're tracking who you're working with, where they're getting leads from. You should always be tracking. Desde dónde y cómo llegaron. No, María Polo me recomendó. Okay, you write it down. Do you have your red, white, and blue card? First question. Yes or no? Do you have membership card for new insurance? ¿Tienes otra tarjeta? Always ask, ¿cuáles tarjetas tienes? And it's okay to say, enséñamelos. It's okay to say, show me. How about retiree coverage from a previous employer? Oh, ¿tienes un plan de retiro? Okay. ¿Cuál es? Get it, write it down. Some agents like to take pictures. You can take pictures. Just make sure you have passwords on your phone. You want to take pictures? Do it. Now, this next question, a lot of people don't. Some will know, some don't. Does the state help you pay for your Part B? So remember, right here, this Part B premium, the state of Texas can pay for it. Okay? And I gave you a cheat sheet on the very back. It's right here on the very back of your pamphlet. Okay? What's the first one called? QMB. What do they get for QMB? What do people get for QMB? Okay, they get all this paid for. I'm going to show you in a minute. Oh, let me pull it back up. If you're a QMB member, it says you get your premiums paid for. Does everybody see the word premium? It gets the $185 paid for. Co-insurance is a 20% deductibles. There's 2 deductibles. So if they have QMB, they get all of this paid for. Remember, right on this part, this is called a Medicare Savings Program. It's on the very top. Okay? So I want you to write this note. This is not Medicaid. This is partial Medicaid. This is not full Medicaid. This is a savings program for people. This is not the true Medicaid. Okay, here I'm going to show you the image of a QMB card. I didn't put it on there. Well, here's a Star Plus card right here. Oh, here it is. You see it where it says QMB? So you're going to see these QMB letters on the card. Even though it says your Texas benefits, it's only what we call partial Medicaid. It's called a Medicare Savings Program. It looks like Medicaid, it acts like Medicaid, but it's not true Medicaid. Okay? We are going to have a Medicaid class coming up with Cecilia. She's the one that worked with Texas Health and Human Services. It's going to be in McAllen. Have you got the dates yet? Not yet? Okay. We're working on the dates. Let's just look at the dates and just propose it to her. She'll do it. Okay. All right, so the Medicaid card. I just want to make sure y'all understand the different levels. So when you ask somebody, number 4, they may know, they may not. Does the state pay for your Part B? Don't say, mijita. Okay, well then just keep going. If they say, pues mijita, mira, tengo esto, tarjeta, then what does this mean? If they have these cards, does the state paying it already for them? Yeah, the state's already taking care of it. If they have one of these cards, the state is already taking care of all of this for them. They don't have to do anything. They don't need to apply. They've already got benefits from Texas Health and Human Services called Medicaid. Now remember, QMB is not Medicaid, it's partial Medicaid, Medicare Savings Program. they have to qualify. What are the income levels? Look at it right there. How much can they have as an individual? Individualmente pueden tener 1,275, nada más pueden tener 9,430 en el banco. Es todo. Pareja, $1,724. Recursos, $14,130 en el banco. Entonces, esta aplicación lo vamos a revisar con mucho detalle en el futuro. ¿Ok?
And they will have physical cards, so QMB and full Medicaid, so Star Plus, will have actual plastic cards. SLMB, QI1 will not have a physical card, instead they have a letter.
So if you want to write that down, the SLMD, the QI1, and LIS, write that down. It's a letter.
So don't go crazy looking for that SLMB card. There's no such thing as an SLMB card.
SLMB, carta. QI1, carta. LIS at the bottom, carta. But I want you to make sure you know who's sending the letter. Who sends the LIS letters? Social Security does.
Do they have to apply every year for this?
Yes, they do.
And if they don't, they lose it?
It's so, once they apply the first time, Cecilia, it's called an initial application, just like Medicare. And then what happens, they get a renewal application in the mail. So the state will send them an application pre-filled. Already almost all of it done, and they have to fill in a few blanks. And then they sign off, they ask for copies of bank statements and certain things, and you gotta send it in.
And I wanna say it comes in a yellow envelope and it says time sensitive on it. You know, because I mean, they have a certain amount of time to submit that renewal application.
Let's look at a letter, let's see if we can find one. We used to have copies of all this, and I'm gonna start working on all these letters again, but they're all on the Medicaid website, I know they are.
And I mean, you can tell your clients, bring me those letters, anything that you get from your Texas benefits, bring them to me, let's go over them together. Right? And I believe they will.
So they get these letters from Texas Department of Health and Human Services or socialsecurity.gov. They get 2 letters. So make sure you read their letter. So this is the part that gets frustrating with agents. Es que me habla esta señora y quiere que lee todo su correo. So you have to train your people. That's when you have to get smart and figure out, how am I gonna do this and not have to go back there every single time? I have one agent in Mission. What she does is she goes to the notes in the phone. She'll go to the notes in the phone and she'll create a note. She'll create a note and then she'll she'll do a shared note with herself and the client. And then she'll put something in there, like a first just to practice. She'll scan the document, she'll take a picture and share it, and the client, and now she's teaching, and she gets a first letter. That way the client knows, oh, I just gotta take a picture and send it to you here, and I get the copy of your letter, anything you need help with. She's gone that far to help people, that way she doesn't have to go to the house every single day. Every time they freak out about one letter, well, that's not a big deal. Just take your picture, send it to me. You have to get good at teaching your clients, because if not, you're gonna get to the point, and Sarah and I hear this all the time, where agents get, but it's your fault, because you told the client to call you. You told the client you're gonna help them every step of the way, which you wanna do, but if you're not smart about it, you're gonna be stuck behind the phone sooner or later. One of Wally's famous questions is there such a thing as too many clients? Is there? She said no, Marifel says no. I'm gonna tell you, there is such a point, you get to a point where there is too many clients. Why? Because you're doing more customer service than you are selling. When you get to that point, guess what happens? And this is a pattern. There's a law of averages, and this is what happens when most people are successful and they got their 300 clients, they got that $100,000 income. It's time Uncle Sam says, Irma, slam, pay me $20,000 because you made too much money. Well, good for you. Well, guess what? Everybody does. The agent at that point does one of two things. Because they go to a person like Wally and they say, well, what do I do? Well, you can get a bigger car and we can do some tax write-offs. We can go get an office. We can get some office expenses. How about an assistant? And that's where most people start. That's when they start with their first assistant. Because you will get to the point where it's too much for you. And for anybody to say it's no such thing, they're lying. Because there is a such thing. You cannot handle 300 clients by yourself. You can't handle 500, 600. If you get good at Obamacare and Medicare, it's way too much for you as an agent. Imagine Obamacare and you say you have 200 clients on Obamacare and only, let's just say 150 are on auto drafts. They put their bank card on, but 50 did not. You have to call those people every single month to make sure they pay, because if not, you don't get paid. 50 calls doesn't take a long time, but it's still your time. So you get to the point where the assistant, she's laughing, are you doing some of this already? You're doing this for Esmeralda. Yeah, because if you don't do it, it's money lost. It's income lost. Everybody gets that pattern where when you get so good at what you're doing, you're gonna get to the next step. It's time for me to have an assistant. Okay, now it's time for me to, you know what? Uncle Sam still kicked my butt. I need to buy a bigger car. When you see agents start upgrading their cars, it's not that they want to be show off, it's because Uncle Sam demands it. Well, maybe they're showing off too, I don't know. So for Mario Ortiz, though, I'm going to say this for Maria, being self-employed or working on commissions is one of the best things you can do, in my opinion. And there's nothing against being an employee. You know, a respiratory therapist makes good money. But I always tell everybody this, but you're always on somebody else's time. Because they tell you when to go in, when you're off. They tell you and what you're worth. I hate to say that, but it's the truth. They tell you what you're worth. This job pays this much. And here, if you just put your nose down and stop worrying about what everybody else says, and just do your job and just focus on getting your clients, guess what? You'll make more than enough money for you and everybody in your circle that it happens. It happens for those people that just work hard and they have a plan. But it happens in commissions. It'll happen in the commission world. Okay? It can happen for you. So, let's finish this thing right here. Does someone, this is a very important one, does someone help you with your medical decisions? Why is that important? You're talking to somebody and they have a daughter and the daughter does everything for them. If you don't talk to the daughter, do you think the mom's gonna move? No. You better make sure the daughter's there. Okay, so make sure you know who's that person that always helps you. That's really what it's saying. Number 6, do you have a power of attorney? Meaning, tienes poder de abogado. If they're walking around, they're making decisions on their own, but everybody gets to the point where they may not be able to make decisions on their own. So, they have that power of attorney. Who is it? Next question. Would you like to invite your friends? Okay, I'm talking to Maria, she wants an appointment. Well, si tienes un vecino o un conocido o alguien que también quiere ayuda, tráetelo, no pasa nada. It's okay to say that, okay? It's okay to say that. So when they actually, they're in front of you, when you're doing your scope of appointment, we're going to do the scope of appointment today as well. When you do that scope of appointment, meaning permission to talk to them, you just write uninvited guest. Ellos, el cliente lo trajo, yo no los invité, but they got here because the client brought them with me to see me. Uninvited guest. Number 8. This is the most important one, and one of the most important ones. Please bring a list of your main doctors and hospitals. If you'd like assistance with finding prescriptions on the drug list, I can help you with that. Don't forget to say the word costs, finding prescriptions and the costs on the drug list. I can help you with that. That's how you get their drug list. Okay, if you're at Walmart, H-E-B, CVS, or Walgreens, it's okay to say, go talk to the pharmacy, see if they can print out the list of medications for you, bring it to me. They can do that. The pharmacy people can do that for you. So, if the clients can do the same thing as you, they can make friends so they get more help with their health care. Because some people will have really good doctors and they go out of their way for their client. There are some doctors that don't care less, 15 minutes, get in, out, see you later. There are pharmacists that say, get out, here, no, it's $30, well, why? They usually pay 10. I don't know, call your insurance. There's pharmacists that do that all the time. If you find one that says, well, let me see what's going on, you gotta teach your clients. You've gotta ask questions. If it's something different, ask them why. If they tell you, pues es que no sé, tienes que hablar. No sirven, búscate otra farmacia. That's what I would tell them. Why? Because there are other places that will tell them, let me see what's going on. Let me find out what's happening. It's okay to train your clients to be a better client. It's okay to teach them. There are some clients that will learn. There are some clients that will never learn. Just do your best to make them better clients for you, for your sake. But there are such things as think about your own healthcare, pharmacy. I go to a pharmacist where I have a former student, because I taught for 10 years, and he was one of my best sax players. He went to Baylor, he's a pharmacist. As soon as I saw him, I don't go anywhere else, because I just send him a text, hey Henry, here's, look for my prescription, date of birth, and I show up, and it's done. I don't have to do anything. And he still calls me Mr. R. Mr. R, this is not covered. What are you gonna do? Or, I ran it through another insurance card, another discount card, and it cost this much. Do you want it? I'll take it. You can have those kind of people helping you out there. You really can. You just have to talk. You just have to teach. So, any questions about this list? This is very, very important. Okay, let's keep going.
Tengo una pregunta.
Sí, María.
Me quedé con la duda de LIS. ¿Eso tiene que renovarlo cada año como el médico?
También. Reciben cartas también por correo. ¿Ok?
¿Todos ellos?
Todos. LIS and Medicaid, los dos van a recibir cartas.
No, pero la renovación es cada año.
Es cada año también. Sí. Todo es por año. Después de COVID, ya están anunciando que hubo mucho fraude durante COVID. There was so much fraud. So many people got so much money, so much free money, and so much they're not having to pay back. So they had to fix it. They had to stop, say, okay, we're going to start. So the Medicaid, everybody had to start all over again. And there was a lot of errors in the systems. So like 2 years ago, like everybody was denied. And it was based on a glitch in the system. And it was a mess. It was a mess for the agents, a mess for the clients, and they had to redo everything. It was not fun. But it had to be done because the state of Texas, that was just mistakes they did or decisions they made. But everybody has to apply and reapply every year. Okay, let's get your book out now. Always look at the front page of the book. This is the very first thing. When you teach a client, Irma, you always have to tell them, les estoy presentando Cigna Healthcare y el plan que les estoy presentando es el Cigna Preferred Medicare HMO. Un HMO, ¿qué es? Un HMO es un red de doctores, es una lista de doctores y usted tiene que ver los doctores adentro de esa lista. Nada más hay 2 ocasiones que puedes ir fuera de la red y yo lo voy a revisar presentando el resumen de beneficios. So there are always 2 ways you can go out of the network, and you're going to learn about them today. Okay? In 10 minutes, we're going to do a virtual training. In 10 minutes, we're going to do like last week, we did it with Aetna. We did the benefit card. Do you remember that last week at 9 o'clock? At 10 o'clock today, there's insurance called dental vision hearing. And it's going to be with Cigna. So it's going to teach you about those kind of plans at 10. So in a little bit, I'm going to get ready in about 8 minutes, and you're going to listen to that call. It's a national call with this guy named Jason Yu from Cigna. I know all of you are young, but there's a lot of people that ask for dental insurance. A lot of people that ask for dental. A lot of people that wish, well, what about dental, vision, and hearing? Well, what's out there? So we're gonna show you a plan today, how it works. We're gonna show you one here in a little bit, okay? So let's do a little bit of the book. Open the book. Okay? Maria, any questions? Maria Ortiz? You're okay? Okay. Look at the very front blue cover. It always tells you plans, the blue cover, open it up one page. The blue cover on right there on your left-hand side. It says plans and service areas. So look at the Cigna Preferred Medicare. This is available in Cameron, Hidalgo, Webb, and Willacy. Nada más está disponible en 4 condados. So, remember, when you're teaching your clients, you have to say this. You can only see doctors in hospitals in Cameron County. And Willacy, well, not Willacy, there's none there, Cameron and Hidalgo County. Are you okay with that? Ask them the question, are you okay with that? ¿Vas a doctores en San Antonio? ¿Vas a doctores en Houston? ¿Vas a Dallas? ¿Dónde vas a ver los doctores? Every once in a while you're going to get, no, mijita, yo me quedo en Matamoros o en Reynosa, yo veo mis doctores allá. What do you say to that? Maria, what would you say to that? When a client says that, what do you say?
Es okay que tenga un HMO.
¿Mande?
Que está bien que tenga un HMO
¿Pero por qué?
porque no piensa ir a San Antonio, Houston, fuera del condado.
Ok, pero mijita, yo voy a Reynosa, yo voy a ver mi doctor en Reynosa.
Debe de venir al condado de Cameron a consultar.
¿Pero por qué? ¿Qué puede pasar?
Puede perder su Medicare.
No, no van a perder el Medicare. ¿Qué puede pasar? Ni idea. What can happen? Okay, I'm going to a doctor in Reynosa. Convince me to join the plan. That's what you're doing already.
Oh, no, papá.
Más cobertura.
You're going to have more coverage. Okay? If you go to Matamoros, you may have to pay more. Or if you go to Reynosa, you're paying more. Okay? What if they have insurance from Mexico? Muchos tienen seguro de Mexico. Okay? So what else could you say to say, you know what, tiene razón. Is there such thing as an emergency situation, life or death? Es lo que yo diría. No, está bien, señora. Usted puede ir a Reynosa a ver a sus doctores todo el día, pero ¿qué pasa el día que tienes un ataque de corazón? Y aquí, le pasa aquí en su casa. ¿Qué vas a hacer? ¿Vas a poder pagar el 20%? Usted quiere pagar todo el 20% sola, sin ayuda. That's what I would say. You're trying to get them to get the insurance, convince them to get the insurance. Okay, those are the things I would talk about. So a lot of clients have insurance in Mexico and they go to Matamoros. It's okay. Pero hay que prevenir. ¿Qué pasa el día que estás aquí? Necesitas una cirugía. Y sí o no, señores, ¿dónde está mejor la tecnología? ¿Aquí o allá? She may say over there, but most times they're going to say, no, pues aquí. Son cosas que deben de decir. Está mejor aquí. Okay? So just things to think about. You have to get them to you have to convince them always. Now, if they say, pues yo, mijita, yo nunca voy a ir a Houston, ¿con qué dinero voy a ir? Yo no tengo ese dinero. No, pues si no, usted piensa que no vas a ir allá, está bien. El HMO es muy buena opción para usted, señora. Todos los hospitales de Cameron y todos los hospitales de Hidalgo. Va a cubrir todos los hospitales aquí en este área. But if they say, María, no, pues sí me gusta ir a Houston de vez en cuando a checarme allá. Should you sell them an HMO? You should not sell them an HMO. You should look at the PPO. Okay? Turn the page. Then where it says Ryan Coker, it has a letter from the president. Who cares? Turn the page. Okay, then it says, welcome. Turn the page. Let's get started. So on the let's get started. To join a Cigna health plan, you must have, look what it says, everybody, circle it, A and B. To join a Medicare Advantage plan, you must have Part A and Part B. You must also live in the residence of the service area. Tienes que vivir aquí. That's what it takes to have Medicare Advantage. Okay? Now, if you join a Medicare Advantage plan, Part C, You keep all the coverage you have with Medicare, with original Medicare. You get more benefits and services than original Medicare. I like that. You get more, but what does that mean? I'm going to explain that to you. Les voy a explicar cómo vas a recibir más. But remember, you must continue to pay. This is why I like for you to have that Medicare card. In a copy of the paper, have a copy of this on paper in color. Acuérdese, señor. Siempre vas a pagar la parte B. You always have to pay for Part B. Why? You pay for Part B and it helps pay for your Part C. Your Part B is paying for your Part C. Now, usted tiene Medicaid, usted tiene MQMB, el Estado de Texas va a seguir pagando esa prima por usted. So you have to know, if they do have some QMB, if they have the QMB card, the state of Texas is paying for this for you. The state of Texas will continue to pay this for you. Does that make sense? Are we okay? But if they only have Medicare, you must continue to send that $185 every month. They're going to continue to take it out of your check automatically. Okay? Now, if you live out of the service area for longer than 6 months in a row, you will not be able to enroll in the Medicare Advantage Plan. ¿Qué existe aquí en el Valle? ¿Cuáles personas vienen a vivir en el Valle por una temporada, un periodo temporal? Winter Texans.
Or migrants that they go
O también los migrantes. Pero estamos hablando de Medicare. A ellos no les vas a vender Medicare. Pero, bueno, quizás, puede ser. Si tienen los abuelos, sí. If they live somewhere else, so the question you have to ask, where is your primary residence? Where is your primary residence? What does your license say? No, it says Minnesota. I understand why you're here. It's freezing over there and here it's hot. Minnesota. Okay, well, if Minnesota is your primary residence, then if you want to sell them insurance, you have to have a license in Minnesota. Okay? And you have to sell them a plan from Minnesota. You cannot sell them a plan from Texas. Can you get licensed in another state? Yes, you can. It's not hard to do. With the Texas license, all you do is go to the Minnesota license website, apply for it, pay for it, and you're done. You'll get the license in a few weeks. So if you have a big circle of influence somewhere else, and you want to sell somewhere else, just go apply for the license.
To sell life and health?
To sell life and health. Yes. All right. We're going to stop right here. Let me get ready for the virtual call. Sarah's getting ready now. She's the one that runs it. Right, Sarah? You're on it? I don't think you hear me. So if you want to run to the restroom right quick, please go do so. They have family plans and they have individual plans. Who is this good for? So you guys have to decide. But there's a lot of families, especially with children, that are always looking for this type of coverage. It's not offered in a lot of employer coverage. It's a great way to make money and to sell plans. Next week's cancer, heart attack, and stroke should be very good. In my opinion, everybody should have insurance that covers at least a cancer, heart attack, stroke. Vision, dental, hearing, it's like anything. They can afford it, offer it. It all depends on the clients. So you have to make a decision. Who are you selling to? So, in the life insurance world, we do put people into categories. And so you have maybe a 1-star family to a 6-star family. 6 stars might be a double income, 2 incomes, a home, 2 cars, the dog, the home. That's what you would consider maybe a 6-star family. Why? Because there's 2 incomes in the home. Could they afford an extra $100 a month to pay for dental, vision, hearing? So luckily, it's a good and bad. A lot of people go to Mexico. A lot of people go to Progreso and get their work done. and it's affordable, so, you know, a lot of people don't wanna go because of the safety, you know, I go to Matamoros for doctors, I do, but because I go with somebody that I know, they know where to go and how to get around. But a lot of people don't have that comfort of going to Matamoros or Reynosa these days, but Progreso is an option, but the bottom line is, you have to decide, if you're selling somebody that's a one-parent home, that if they're making a little bit of money, you may wanna offer this. You may not, it just depends on the income, how much income they're bringing in. If they're bringing in $100,000 by themselves at least, I mean, why not offer it? But, you have to make those decisions, you have to decide. Now, with next week's training, heart attack, stroke, cancer. I wanna just mention this now, that you can buy life insurance that includes coverage for heart attack, stroke, and cancer. You can buy life insurance now that covers you in life, you don't have to wait till you die. So, as you live, if you get cancer and you're 55, the life insurance policy says, and the same thing's gonna happen with the policies you're gonna learn about next week. If you get cancer at this point, we're gonna pay you out so much money. We're gonna pay you so much money. If you've seen the new Aflac commercials, they got Deion Sanders on there, he had an amputated toe. So he gets paid because he goes into the hospital. Those are called hospital indemnity plans. These are all the same type of plans. Something happens, we're gonna pay you for that something. We're gonna pay you income so you don't lose income, or so that you have money to pay for the bills that are incurring. So, the good thing though, is if you're selling Obamacare and you're covering them with Obamacare, or if they have employer insurance, then you pretty much got them covered. You have to look at the life insurance now, or different things. So, as an agent, you should do what they call a needs analysis and figure that out. So that's we are having an annuity training or life training this week.
Yes, on Wednesday with Kobe.
We have a live training on Wednesday, so if you want to attend that, but again, the famous words that you're gonna hear, do you have the old life insurance? Meaning, when you die, it pays, or do you have new insurance, the new life insurance? If you get heart attacks, if you have a heart attack, if you have a stroke, if you have cancer, it pays you up front. Me personally, I have 3 of these policies. I have 3 of them. So if anything happens to me as I live, I have money so people can take care of me. So that way I don't have to worry about, you know, just the people at home. Because what happens among Hispanos, ¿qué hacemos? The wife or the brothers or the sons or daughters, they're the ones taking care of the loved ones. And so those that prepare, they have nurses, they have people they can afford. You know what, let me find somebody. In this area, I always say the same thing. Find somebody from Matamoros that you can pay $10 an hour and pay them to stay with you overnight, to take care of, to bathe, to do those kind of things. There are ways to get that stuff paid for if you plan properly. So what happens in our area, most people, I hate to say these things, so a lot of people don't plan. So what do they do? What do they go after? What do they go after? They go after Medicaid. Who takes care of the bills for somebody to take care of you if you have Medicaid? They do. They'll send somebody to the home to help you cook, bathe you, dress you, move you around. Medicaid will do that. But what do you have to do if you go after Medicaid? What do you give up? You give up the house. You give up your home. It's called the Medicaid Estate Recovery Program, MERP. So when we have that Medicaid program training in McAllen, it's going to be in McAllen, they're going to go over the ways how to get Medicaid and how to avoid the penalty, how to avoid the MERP law. We talked about it last week. There's a Lady Bird deed, there's a Todd transfer upon death. There's 2 things you can do so that you can avoid giving up your assets when you do pass. But it's possible to help people prepare with life insurance these days. Because life insurance can be purchased so that when it pays you if you have a heart attack, you have money for somebody to take care of you. So
It's just good to know, like, this training with Cigna, and then next week's training, the options that you have for your clients. You wanna be able to educate healthcare educators, educate them on their options, so they're not relying on Mexico, so they're not relying on not planning. It's just letting them know their options that are available, and they are affordable options. So it's just being mindful of those things and being able to be, as an agent, all-inclusive, all-encompassing in every option that is available to somebody.
Yep, if you, like you respiratory therapists, you know people are looking for life insurance, you shouldn't walk away from those paydays. So even if you sold them a term policy, so this is how life insurance works very quickly, Maria. If you sell me a $100 policy, and you're at 100% commission, you annualize the premium. 100 times 12 is annualized, 1 year. $100 a month times 12 is how much? 1,200. And if you're at 100% commission, how much did you make? $1,200. You made $1,200 for one sale if you sell a life insurance policy at $100. Let's say you sell a senior. They're not gonna buy $100, they'll buy 50. 50 times 12 is how much? 600. That's your commission at 100% commission. That's how easy the math is. Now, insurance companies have been burned many, many, many times. So, what do? They say, well, here's Cecilia, you sold a $100 policy, it's $1,200. We're not gonna give you the $1,200 up front. We're gonna give you 9 months, 75% advance. So out of the $1,200, they're gonna give you 75%, 9 months of it. Then month 10, 11, and 12, what do? They pay you on month 10. So if, let's say you sold it in January, so month 10 is October, November, December. So the last 3 commission payments, you're gonna get a third of it in November, October, the next one in November, and then December, and now you're made whole. You get the full $1,200 by the end of December, the full 12 months. What happens when somebody cancels at the 6th month? You have to pay all the money back that you were paid. That's called a chargeback. With Medicare, we have chargebacks as well, but because you're being paid prorated, they're paying you in pieces, in 12s. The month that they stop being enrolled, they stop paying you the next month. Now, sometimes the carriers are a little slow, and they don't notice for 3 months. So once they notice, oh, Maria Polo se te fue esta persona, and they say, well, we paid you 3 months extra, we're gonna take that money back. They will charge you back the money that you were overpaid. Those are called chargebacks. But what I like about Obamacare and Medicare is you're paid prorated, so they don't take you're not gonna lose a whole lot of money. Now in January, right now, you're being paid all the whole year up front because it's the beginning of the year. So what happens if you have $12,000 and $2,000 of people went away? Well, you do have to pay back those $2,000 of the people that went away. So, because the calendar year for Medicare is January to December. Every January to December, it's 12 months. So, if you sell somebody in July, month 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, they're gonna pay you $112. $112, right? Then January comes around, they start from month 1, and they pay you the full amount. If you enroll somebody during AEP for 1/1, you get paid the full amount. And it starts decreasing every month. Because you're getting 12 full payments in January because you enrolled them during the enrollment period. January, February, March, they disenroll, and so they're gonna charge you all the money that they paid you because you were paid in January all 12 months. Does that make sense? That's how commissions work with life, with health. The good thing about Obamacare and Medicare, most of it is as earned. You're paying prorated. It's not gonna kill your bank. But life insurance can, if you write bad business, if you write bad dental, vision, hearing, and you just wanna sell because you wanna make money, and half the people cancel on you, the carriers will cancel your contracts. They won't give you a contract anymore. They'll say, no, esta persona se le fue la mitad de ese negocio en los primeros 6 meses, esta persona, me avisan a mí, ¿sabes qué? Lo vamos a reducir, en vez de darle los 9 meses adelantado, nada más le vamos a dar 6 meses. Y llega al punto, no le vamos a aguantar ningún centavo, va a ser mes por mes a esta gente. ¿Por qué? Porque tiene reputación de no escribir buen negocio. So you have to take care of your license, your reputation as an agent. You can get a good reputation and maintain with life, dental, vision, hearing, cancer, heart attack, stroke, and Medicare, it don't matter. Obamacare, it doesn't. What Obamacare matters is if you're writing bad business, if you're writing people and you're writing people and you're writing people and you're trying to get them in and you're just saying lies, they only made this much money. And you do it 20 times and you wrote 40 policies, CMS will suspend your contract. They won't let you sell it anymore. So you have to take care of your license, okay? You have to be careful what you do, because this is your license. You cannot be lying for people, okay? A lot of people will want to lie, but don't do it. All right, let's keep going in the book. You need a quick break? 2 minutes? If you have a 401k and it's time to stop working, what does the 401k do for you? Anybody have it? Y'all should no idea? Do you have a 401k? No? So what does it do? It'll give you income for the rest of your life. So if you have an annuity, okay, everybody, you have a bucket. You have buckets. And the annuities, in the 401k world, in the employer world, they give you buckets. Like TRS, for example, teachers. They're putting aside money, and TRS is going to pay you a certain amount per month when you finish retiring. When you find somebody that's going to retire, this is what happens. Okay, you've accumulated this much money. It's $200,000. How do you want us to pay it out? So they give you choices. They're going to give you a choice of what they call it. You want a lump sum? Meaning out of the $200,000, do you want a percentage of that right now? Because you're already retiring. A lot of people like the lump sum. ¿Por qué? You saved all your money, you saved your money all your life, and pues ahora sí, dámelo. I want my money. So that's what's called a lump sum. But then they still pay out the rest of your life, right? So they have different buckets. And the different buckets, I guess I should write some of this down. The different buckets while we're teaching, because this is what Kobe's going to go over. But the different buckets cover different things. So, if you get the lump sum, great, después bien. But they have these different options, like if you're, what you say, first to die. You can't see that, I'm sorry. First to die. They have this, or they say second to die. Let me get a better one, a better marker. Second to die. So what does that mean if you're first to die? They're going to say, okay, here's my money. This is the amount we're going to pay you. Once you die, what happens to the money? What happens? If you're first to die, and you're a teacher, and you're saying, pay me until I die. I'm the employee, first to die. So what happens when I die? The money does what? It stops. What if you lived only 1 month and you had 400,000 sitting there? What happens to all that money that was left? Is it paid out? No. It's called because it's a retirement plan. That's why a lot of people say, forget that. Give me as much as you can right now. Give me a lump sum first. Does that make sense? If you do a lump sum, then what happens? You can say, okay, I have this money. I pass away, I have 3 kids, I'm going to pay it out 3 divided by 33% to each kid. You decide how that money is paid out. But in your retirements, whatever they tell you, you've accumulated with Solar or wherever you're working, I'm not sure, I don't remember the name of the first place, but they say, how do you want your money? First to die? Okay, we're going to pay it out until you die. No, I want less money. You're going to pay out until my spouse dies. Whether it's me that dies first or her, it's second to die. So what do they do to your payment? Do they give you the bigger one or a smaller payment? If you're going to pay out longer because you're going to do second to die, what are they going to do with your money? They're going to give you what of it? Less. They give you less. That's what they call second to die. So that's why, again, going back to the lump sum, that's why, so what she's smiling big because When you find those people and you help them transfer that money to a company, you get, let's say you're making 5% on $100,000, what's that commission? What's 5% of 100,000? I don't know the amount. 5,000. She just made a $5,000 commission for helping them move that money from TRS to, let's just say, Athene savings. She gets paid, let's just say it's 5% to do the math, $5,000 for that transfer. That's a big commission. That's how annuities work. So when you find people that are retiring and you know they have good income, you don't want to let those people go. You want to go with them. Let me talk to you. What happens if you feel like, I don't know anything? I don't know anything. What do I do? Are you okay with faking it till you make it? I would. And are you okay with telling the truth? You know what? I'm learning the business. I have a teacher. Can I bring my teacher with me and so that I can possibly help you? They will be doing the business. I will be part of this, I will be helping you, but I'm learning. Let my teacher help you. Is it okay to say that? Are a lot of people scared to say those things? To me, you're telling the truth. Why do people do business with you? Why are people doing business with you? Because what? Say it again. They trust you. Does it matter that you're just learning? It doesn't matter, because they know you're trustworthy. So they know whoever you take with them is going to be somebody that knows the business. Even though you don't know, it doesn't matter. So when I learned the business, and this is what I was selling, annuities, I was selling life insurance. I didn't know anything. This is how I was taught, this is what to say. I was taught what to say. If I can help you save an extra money without changing the thing that you're currently doing, can I have 30 minutes of your time? That's what I was taught to say, one thing. That it's like picking up a girl on a date. You know how guys have these pickup lines? You know, they have these little things that they want to say to try to get the, hey, will you give me your time? You learn these pickup lines. You learn these, and it's not, and I hate to say it, pickup lines, because everybody's like, it's slimy, but if you're not sincere with what you say, what happens? What do you do when a guy's not sincere to you, Maria Ortiz? Do you give him a time of day? Heck no. What do? You get out of here. If you don't smell sincerity on them, what do y'all do? You walk away. You don't give them a chance. So these pickup lines can't be slimy and cheesy and crappy. And they have to be sincere, because if they don't trust you, you are not getting in the door.
Sí,
So.
por ejemplo, ella me conoce a mí desde hace tiempo, entonces o sea, me ha visto que apenas estoy en esto y me dice, pero no, sí, me interesa, y ella sola me preguntó, entonces dice, lo que pasa es que tengo $200,000 y me voy a retirar.
Tanto así le confía. Because how many people say how much they save? A lot of people won't say it. You know?
Sí, y le digo, dice, pero tú vas a estar conmigo. Le digo, no, como yo tengo poca experiencia, voy empezando, tengo una persona que tiene más de 18 años de experiencia en esto, entonces vamos a estar las dos ahí, ¿sí te parece? Y digo, pues sí, que estaba bien. Entonces en febrero ya le agendé.
Eso está bien. Ya sabes, if they telling you amounts, I would be like this, because you know they trust you. How many of you are that open with people you know? A lot of people aren't. They don't say much. Yo gano tanto por mes. So on page 5, look what it does. It's comparing 3 kinds of insurances: original Medicare, supplement Medicare, and Advantage Plans Part C. Right on top of that, Part C of Medicare. Just put Part C on the 3rd column so you don't forget Medicare Advantage. We're on page 5. Okay, so supplement. So look at the supplement column, Maria. Vamos a aprender a suplementar rápido. It covers the Part A and B. It helps pay. There is a limit of your annual pocket, but look what the benefits, the extra benefits. Prescriptions, dental, hearing aids, vision. Does the supplement cover all that? No. But I can show you very quickly how good the supplement is. Let's see how good the supplement is. I'm gonna teach y'all what y'all are learning in the field already. So I hope that made sense about annuities. Why you want, when you find people that are retiring, why you don't wanna let them go. You want those people because it's a big payday. And not that you're being greedy, you have to make money. I want you to understand that sales is sincerity. Sales is education. If you're not sincere, they're not gonna do business with you. But if you also, you can be greedy and just go after the money, which is, you can, but the more you give, the more you're gonna get. That's my philosophy. So look at the supplements right quick. Look at all the columns. Which column has everything checked off? F. Start with F. F covers everything. Okay, look at the benefits. Co-insurance. If you see the first column where it says co-insurance, it covers on F 100%. Co-payments, co-insurance, 100%. Benefits, Part A hospice or skilled nursing facility, Part A deductible, Part B deductible, Part B excess, and foreign travel. What does F do? It covers it all. There's some coverage. Look at the second one. Wait, before I go on, let me explain F. You cannot, is it in the packet? I think it's the packet. It's in the, so you can go to that page. It's on page 76. Look for this page, the blank Medicare card is right next to it. So, F is going to cover everything on this Medicare card. This is the thing you need to remember. You have to have Medicare before 2020 to sell F. You have to have had Medicare before the year 2020. In the year 2020, they changed the rules. If you get Medicare after the year 2020, you can only get a G, no more F. So G covers everything except for one thing. What is it? Circle the hole that's missing, or right there, Part B deductible. Write it in, Part B deductible. That's what it's not going to cover. It's not going to cover the Part B deductible, but Plan G is excellent. They can go to any doctor, no referral, no authorization. Is that attractive? It's attractive for someone that can afford to pay $100 a month, plus their Part D. It's attractive. Okay, now the next plan I would sell after G and F, look at Plan N. Plan N is the next popular one. Plan N covers everything, but look, it's going to ask you, it doesn't cover the Part D deductible. Okay, so I'm going to show you how it works on Plan N. Look at the very bottom, where it's the 3 asterisks. Do you see the 3 asterisks? I'm about to read it.
Plan A pays 100% of the Part B co-insurance. You must pay a co-payment of up to $20 for some office visits and up to a $50 co-payment for emergency room visits and don't result in an inpatient admission.
So you pay $20 for the specialist, $50 for ER. That's why it's so popular. Plan N, because they're gonna pay less than $100 a month for Plan N. Okay? All right, so let's go back to the blue book. Let's go back to the book. Turn the page. When to enroll, page 6. We've already gone over this, but let's do a reminder. You're turning 65 3 months before and 3 months after. That's called what? Number 1. What's it called? Initial. Always remember the word initial. Inicial. How much do you get paid for an initial enrollment, everybody, right now? $600 and change. You get paid $600 for somebody turning 65 for the first time. Okay? When you change them from purple to green, you get paid $300 and change. When you change them from blue to well, $300. United to Cigna, $300. But first time, I'm just getting my Medicare, $600. Look at the annual enrollment. We just went through the annual enrollment, October 15th to December 7th. Okay? When does coverage start? January what? January 1st. Open enrollment. We are in open enrollment right now. What can you do in open enrollment? To what though? What can you change them to? Can you?
Just something in mind.
Okay, so let's just say I have, I like to use the stars. Okay, let's say I have Cigna. I have a Medicare Advantage. Can I change them to Humana or Aetna? Yes. You're absolutely right, Cecilia. I didn't mean to put that on you. You can change. What if they only have MA and no Part D? Can I go MA to MAPD? Can I do that? Does that make sense? Can I change somebody if they only have MA? Can I change them to MAPD, yes or no? What does PD mean? Police Department? What does PD mean? Prescription drugs. If they only have MA, can I add prescription drugs? Right now, during the enrollment, during January through March, can I change them? Can I add, yes or no? Cannot. You can only do like to like. Like to like. Like to like. Whatever they have now, you have to change it to something exactly alike. Like to like. So if they have a plan, Cigna Preferred, it has prescriptions, can you change them to United Plan with prescriptions? Yes, you can. You can change them. But let's say they have the Courage Plan, it only has A and B, no D, and you want to put them in United MAPD, can you change them? You cannot. So those are the rules you have to learn. Okay? Now, let's just say we're in open enrollment right now, and they only have MA. How can you get them into an MAPD? There's a special window that you can use to get them into an MA with prescriptions. What's it called? Anybody? Special election, but which one do you want to use? If you find you're a therapist for them. If they have COPD, what is that called? It's a chronic plan. Who has chronic plans that sells them? Cigna? No, not Cigna. United has one. Who else? Humana? Who else has a chronic plan? Well, I don't remember what Volker does. They might, but I know United and Humana. And I don't remember if Aetna does either. How many of you went to the annual enrollment period when we did all the dress up as anger and anxiety and all that? Remember we gave you a spreadsheet of all those, and the spreadsheet had all the chronic plans on it. You don't have that? Wally. Let's see if Wally's here. Wally. Are you there, Wally? No. Oh, he's over there. Can you send me the spreadsheet to the chronic plans so I can show them? You know what I'm talking about? Yep. So I'm going to show you all. But the chronic plans, how can you add prescriptions right now? If they have COPD, diabetes, heart failure. If they have one of three things, you can get them in a plan. So it now like to like doesn't matter. Even though we're in OEP, it's okay. You have diabetes, I can add prescriptions. You have heart failure, I can add prescriptions. So, now there's other SEPs, desastre. We've talked about the disaster ones. If there's a disaster, which there are, you can also get them in during open enrollment period or during lock-in. You can get them in different ways. Okay, let's keep going. Monday? Irma, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was gonna ask, not change plans, but what if they wanna change like agent, or they don't have an agent? You told
Okay,
them-
that's a great question. So the carriers, they have this thing called agent of record. And so if you just change the agent of record, United does not have an agent of record. Cigna does. Aetna does not. So you have to learn which ones do, which ones don't.
I emailed it to you.
Okay, you remember, Wally will know this, and I don't know which carriers do and which carriers don't, but the bottom line is, if you do an agent of record, they're not gonna pay you, because we're in January, they're not gonna pay you all this year, they're gonna start paying you next year. That's some carriers. You wanna go into a little more on the
Wellcare
deal?
and Cigna were the ones that would recognize, they've come back and said that they're not gonna recognize agent record changes anymore. So they're doing it with them. So right now, the thing is, some agents are still submitting them, and they're getting paid on them. Like Cigna had a policy, you would submit an agent of record, and then they wouldn't pay you for the whole year. Starting the next year, you start getting renewals on it. Right. But Wellcare was one where you would submit the agent of record, and they would start paying you the very next month. But they've come back and said that they're doing away with the agent of record changes, and they were the only ones.
So, thank you, Wally, for clarifying.
Yep.
The bottom line is, so you can MA to MA, MAPD to MAPD, unless you have a special window, whether it's or it's a chronic condition or a special election. Okay, so that's number 4, what we just went over, all right? Look at the vocabulary. Explain HMO, please, Nidia.
Do you want me to read it?
No, you can just explain it, you're talking to a client now.
Well, you can go check with any doctor, because in the network, or some hospitals within the network.
Okay. If you go outside, look at what it says in the middle. If you go outside an HMO network, your care might not be covered without prior approval unless you're having a medical emergency. So if you see a doctor outside of the network, you're in charge. They will not help you. Turn the page. Look at all the vocabulary that Cigna provides, and it gives you explanations here. Spend time reading it, please. Okay, let's go to the scope of appointment. We're on page, it says on the bottom, it's a Roman numeral 2. At the top, it says scope of appointment confirmation form. Are you there? Everybody must have one of these. Maria Ortiz, power lifter, read it please, on the top.
The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services requires agents to document the scope of a marketing appointment at least 48 hours prior to any personal marketing meeting to ensure understanding of what will be discussed between the agent and the Medicare beneficiary. The 48-hour rule is waived if the appointment falls within one of the exceptions noted below. A scope of appointment form is required for each beneficiary, and a new form is required if you request information regarding a different plan type than originally agreed upon.
Keep going.
All information provided on this form is confidential and should be completed by your agent at least 48 hours prior to your appointment unless an exception applies. Select below which plan types you would like to learn more about. By selecting plan type, you are confirming this form has been completed at least 48 hours prior to the discussion of the benefits unless an exception applies.
So you're gonna always check Medicare Advantage, the first box, Part C, you're gonna put a check there. If you like to talk about supplements, which a lot of agents do not, but if you do, you put a check on supplement. Standalone Part D. What is standalone Part D? You can buy a Part D plan and only covers prescriptions. WellCare is #1 with that because they still offer 0 plans. But all the other carriers said, forget that. Because of all the rules that went into place this year, the cheapest you can find out there might be $50, and you're gonna see up to $120 for Part D now. But WellCare is still selling 0 premium plans for Part D. Will they change in 2026? They probably will. You can write WellCare 0 premium, but you won't get paid for it. And there's a lot of agents still writing the Part Ds because it still has the lowest premium. It still has really good coverage, rich coverage. So WellCare is still getting a lot of business, even though they said, no more, we're not paying you commission. Okay? Next year, will it change? I think it will. But you can sell standalone Part D. Who would need that? Medicare supplements. Dental, vision, hearing, you just learned about that. You're gonna learn about cancer, heart attack, stroke, or hospital indemnity plan. So what are these? This is all health insurance. It does not say life insurance. So you cannot mention life insurance during this appointment. You cannot mention any kind of other insurance except for what you see here. Only health. So, can you mention life at the end of the appointment? Say, I'm gonna set up another appointment with you and talk about life in 2 weeks. When can I sit with you? And make the appointment? You can do that. But you cannot sit there and start gathering information to make a sale. You cannot sell them right then and there. You can only talk about these plans right here. Signing this form does not obligate you to enroll in the plan, affect your current or future Medicare enrollment status, or automatically enroll you in Medicare plan. You all need to read this whole section, put on top, read to client. You must read this. This is a HIPAA disclosure. You've got to read it. Just write read to client. Especially where it says signing this form does not enroll you in a plan. You need to read these things. If you're not reading them, you're not doing the right thing. I hope Ana taught you how to read it to them. Si lo está leyendo, qué bueno. Si no, para hablar con Ana. They have to sign, you'll see the sign, and then the agent. Let's go over your part now. So, those of you that are assistants, you should not be filling this part out. Okay? Unless you have a license, then you can, because you're contracted. So I know you're starting contracting. Once you're contracted and everything, you can do this. You're doing it on behalf of Salinas Insurance, or whatever the name is. I forgot the name. Agent name, beneficiary name, your ID number. Every carrier gives you an ID number. Agent phone number. This is important. Date, appointment, schedule. So this date, so let's just say you sign up, you're going to see them on Friday, it should have Friday's date. Is the appointment scheduled to be completed prior to the 48-hour waiting period? Yes or no? So if you're at H-E-B or Walmart, put no. Why? Because you're at Walmart, it's a sales event. You're at H-E-B, it's a sales event. Michoacana, sales event. You can sign them up on the spot because it's a sales event. It has to be registered. So who registers? Medium and Karina, they'll register your events. If you're at CVS, if you're at Walgreens, they're going to be registered. If you're in a dental office or you're in a doctor's office and you're just sitting there, you didn't register, can you enroll them on site? No. You get this form filled out and then you go see them in 2 days. If you're getting a referral from your best friend that works at the cancer center, here Nydia, here's another one, she gives you the permission to contact form, you have to call them and wait 48 hours before you go see them. So please understand, it's a 48-hour rule. Now what if you have an office and you're sitting at the office and they come to you? They don't have to wait. They came to me, okay? They were called walk-ins. They have to be what we call a walk-in. Now if you set the appointment, you're calling your clients, come see me today, can you see them today? And you're calling them out of the blue to say, hello, how's it going? Do you have any friends that need my help? Oh yes, my neighbor. Okay, come see me today. Can you do that? No, you cannot. You've got to wait 48 hours. Even if they come into your office, what does coming into your office mean? It means they're driving by and they see Esmeralda's office. No, déjame ir a preguntar. Tengo problemas con Medicaid. Déjame ir a preguntar y voy a pararme aquí a ver qué me pueden decir. That's a walk-in. But if you're calling them, come see me, that's not a walk-in. That's an appointment. Yes. I say that because a lot of agents write the word walk-in on, and that's illegal. That's not correct. You cannot write walk-in because you call them. You call them. You set up an appointment. Okay. Look what it says, exception, the 48-hour rule. It's the last 4 days of the month. Can you see them as immediately? Yes, you can. Beneficiary initiated walk-in. See, beneficiary initiated a walk-in. They came to you. Irma, no entiendo esto. ¿Qué está pasando? No te conozco. ¿Cómo te llamas? Okay? That's a walk-in. They see your sign outside. Oye, a mí me van a entregar el Medicare. ¿Me puedes ayudar? Oh, sí. That's a walk-in. But if you call them, that's not a walk-in. Turn the page. Okay, extra benefits, page 17. Look at all the extra benefits that these plans offer. Does original Medicare offer these benefits? Does original Medicare offer a debit card? Do they offer incentives to go get your preventative checkups? Do they offer dental, hearing? Do they have a prescription drug home service? The MD Live vision services? These are extra benefits. Does Medicare offer extra benefits? No. They are offered through Part C of Medicare. Turn the page. So look at this quick chart. It has all their plans. Find the ones that do not have prescriptions. So find the prescription benefit. Let's see, is it on here? Dental allowance. Nope, it's not even on this chart. It's not on here. So, we'll look. Bottom line is some of these don't have prescriptions. Turn the page. Now it tells you how the Cigna card works. On page 21, you want to learn more on how it works, read this page. Page 20 is very important. Amparo, how many clients have you seen that are taking care of a loved one that cannot be home, that they cannot move anymore? They're bedridden. Have you seen a lot of that with the Esmeralda's clients? Not a lot yet? How about you, respiratory therapist ladies? Have you seen a lot of people that are taking care of loved ones at home? They're called caregivers. Okay, how many of you have been a caregiver for an older person already in your life? I've been one, for my dad. Anybody else have taken care of a loved one yet? Not yet? Okay, we all get to this point where we're going to become a caregiver. Everybody's going to go through it. Now, I hope you're not recording this part, but the stereotype, what do white people do? What white people will they'll say? Well, they send them to where? They send them to the nursing home. And that's a stereotype that people think. What do Hispanos tend to do? They take care of them. They take care of, we're going to take care of you. It's a funny story. Because Anna's dad is going to get a major surgery. He got all these screws in his leg, and they're going to fix them all because the doctor that did them originally did an okay job, but now he went to Houston. They're going to remove everything, take everything out. So they're trying to set up. Don't tell them what I said this. They're trying to set up what they call skilled nursing. I told you all this last time. Skilled nursing, where they take care of him for 20 days in a skilled nursing facility. And in his mind, mis hijas me están mandando ¿dónde? Me están mandando a nursing home. That's the mindset of a lot of people that we work with. Oye, hijas, no, ustedes me, ¿por qué? ¿Por qué me van a mandar no me van a cuidar? I'm serious, this is serious stuff. Because he thinks they're being sent to a nursing home now. And that's not what we want. We want care so that the nurses are constantly caring for him in a skilled nursing facility. But you have to educate the client. You have to help them understand what it is. So it's a good thing to go to skilled nursing because they're going to make sure you're comfortable. They're going to make sure you're out free of pain for 20 days. And if you can afford days 21 through 100, pay it. But that's the mindset of a lot of people. But caregiver, the reason why I like to talk about this, because look what it says. Marifel, read it.
For the care for caregivers?
Yes, read.
Caregiving can be challenging, exhausting, and sometimes lonely. That's why taking care of yourself or those who take care of you is so important. Cigna Healthcare helps support all stages of the caregiving journey by providing easy access to resources at no cost to use, such as individual assessments that focus on all aspects of care, including health-related social needs like housing, nutrition, and transportation. One-on-one coaching for caregivers who want personal support and guidance. Online tools to share resources, stay in touch with a health coach, and access support.
So what's the biggest word that people that are caregiving, what are they going through? Just describe a caregiver. What are they going through taking care of somebody?
Exhausted.
I'm sorry, say it please.
Tired.
They're tired. What else are they? They're stressed. What else are they? Caregivers are tired, they're stressed, they're maybe, they're exhausted, you said exhausted, frustrated, because they're taking care of somebody. If the caregiver has more than one person helping, it's a good thing. If there's 3 or 4 brothers that are helping and a sister, and by the way, who tends to help more, the daughters or the sons? The daughters. It's a fact, it's the way of life. Guys suck. So, I kid you not, these are things that come up. Anna's like, I should have had daughters. But the bottom line is, women tend to do more of the caregiving than men, but it's a very stressful time. I point this out because there's all kinds of help for people during this time, and you have to be willing to look for it. A lot of people don't want to look. They don't know where to start. So if you have a client that's going to WellMed has all kinds of resources for caregivers. So does the other one, Connell, what's it called now? CentraWell. CentraWell has assistance for caregiving. If you have Medicaid, they have assistance for caregiving. But please understand, when they have Medicare and only Medicare, that's it. There's assistance for them as well. You just have to be willing to look. The Area Agency on Aging is something that you all should be familiar with. The Area Agency on Aging is I think I'm not sure if it's federal or if it's just state, but they'll do wills for people. They do all kinds of things for people that have Medicare and Medicaid. Area Agency on Aging, AAA. But there's all kinds of assistance. But caregiving is something very delicate, very stressful. If you can help find solutions to people that are caregivers, I promise you, you have a client for life. Okay? You'll have clients for life because you're helping reduce stress. You're helping them live a more peaceful life. Okay, turn the page. So Maria, you're learning about some of this stuff that we all are going to have to go through. So, incentives. Yearly checkups, diabetes, colorectal screenings, opting in, paperless. They give you incentives for doing this kind of thing, for doing your checkups. Companion program includes phone calls or online sessions with virtual companions who can provide social engagement and help coordinate. So one thing you're going to start to see, en María, yo creo que usted haya visto, personas que no tienen absolutamente nadie. Have you seen it yet? ¿Triste? Sí. Can you share a story of a story that you've seen of a client that you've already seen out there that you just like wish, oh my God, I wish I could help them? So I know you, because I hear the story, so I know who.
Sí, un señor vivía solito bien lejos, como en un rancho, y pues no se podía pasar ni por su traila, o sea, no podías caminar, y él estaba preocupado porque había perdido su Medicaid, porque le llegó para renovar y él no sabía cómo renovarlo. Entonces tiene su hija, pero dice que su hija nunca le contesta, y le intentamos marcar ahí, ¿verdad? Porque yo no quería que estuviera solo. Dijo, no, déjame prendo la estufa porque hace mucho frío, y estábamos con la mecha de la estufa calentándonos, ¿verdad? Estaba bien frío, y su hija nunca le contestó. Después al día siguiente su hija me habla y me dice, es que mi papá es bien fastidioso, empezó a hablar mal de su papá. Entonces, pero yo le ayudé al señor a llenar su Medicaid para que pudiera agarrar otra vez. Pero es muy triste porque él pues quería llorar porque su hija nunca le contestaba.
That's just one story. I've heard about 3 of her stories. There wasn't 2 ladies. It's like, what's that show, Hoarders? Where just up ceiling to ceiling, and you cannot walk through a house because there's so much junk in their home. Dishes piled up to the ceiling because they're by themselves. ¿Sí o no?
Sí,
Huh?
y tenía muchos gatos y no podíamos pasar tampoco, era un pedacito así chiquito. Y dice, siéntense donde puedan. Y no, la señora en silla de ruedas y no podía traer oxígeno y solita, con gatos y todo, y veías la arena de los gatos por todo.
The stuff you're going to see. Now, so try to find it, because I told Anna, well, why don't you just get your team together and go try to help. But learning to ask, pride, a lot of people don't, no, estoy bien, hija, no, déjame en paz, no quiero nada. But, is it okay to ask, or if you ask them, is it okay if I refer you to a program that might be able to help you with some of this, like the Trip Area Agency on Aging? Are you, you can call, are you okay with that? I'll call right now and do it with them. That way you take away all the pedals and all the, you know, all the uncomfort, you know, all the, that whatever they might be feeling, awkwardness, take it away and just do it right then and there. You're allowed to do that. That's every individual agent, you decide what you're gonna do and what you're not gonna do. It's just tough, seeing the stuff. All right, fitness. Staying active, so fitness program, turn the page. I'm showing you these pages because the carriers answer, they tell you how it works. Here's the hearing services. What you need to do, the home delivered meals, the MD Live, turn the page. Over the counter allowance, the pet care, hasta esto. I remember the day I was in Houston in a meeting with Cigna, and one agent said, I laughed my butt off. I was like, how about a pet benefit? I'm just like, still. I'm like, really? And I was making fun of the leaders, like, why would you invite this guy? But now I'm like, it makes sense, because pets are the only things they have. But at the time, I did not understand. I was immature. But I made fun of the guy. I was like, damn, dude, why are you here? It was my immaturity. Okay, summary of benefits. Okay. Here we go. I want you to really listen, because I know some of you have heard me do this, but I want to make sure you hear it several times. The premium of this plan is 0. You must continue to pay the $185, Mr. Garcia. Okay? Now, remember I told you there's 2 deductibles for the hospital and the doctors, $1,000 and change and $200 and change for Part A and Part B. Look at my plan. The Cigna Preferred HMO, look at it. No deductible. Do you like the way that sounds? You don't have to pay this deductible anymore or that deductible. Cigna HMO is going to take it away. That's exciting. Maximum out of pocket. I'm going to explain this very plainly, Mr. Garcia. As you use the plan, every amount accumulates. So you have, I'm going to show you, look at the next page. You have an inpatient hospital. What does that mean? That means you were admitted to the hospital. When you're admitted, you paid $350. Let's just pretend you had 10 hospital stays this year. 10 times 350 is $3,500. Look at this maximum out of pocket. If you reach $3,400 in 1 year of health care services, you will not pay for Part A or Part B services for the rest of the year. If you hit $3,400. Mr. Garcia, in my 18 years of being an agent, I've only had 5 clients, a handful of clients that have hit this. I've had a few cancer hit this, and I've had a few rheumatoid arthritis hit this. Why rheumatoid arthritis? Because it's very expensive injections. Cancer is very expensive. But out of the thousands of clients that I have, I've only seen it 4 or 5 times. This is a good thing. You have a protection. If you have the worst year ever for healthcare, the most you're going to pay is $3,400. That's it. Now remember, okay, write these notes down. As I'm talking, make sure you're writing things down. Remember, this does not include your prescriptions. Your prescriptions has a different set of rules. Okay? Now, remember, you have to get authorizations, and you have to get referrals. In the gray here, in the page 39, I'm on the gray now. You have to have prescriptions and prior authorizations because you're in an HMO. The primary care doctor is your gatekeeper. That gatekeeper is going to refer you to all your specialists, all your exams that you may need. Once they refer you, they have to be, if you have any kind of diagnostic procedure, they have to be authorized. If the carrier does not authorize and you get the MRI done, you have to pay 100% of the MRI. You're in charge if there's no authorization approval. So it's okay, Mr. Garcia, to call Cigna and say, if you decide to enroll, it's okay to call and check. Hey, el doctor me está haciendo esta cosa en 3 semanas, ya está aprobado. Es mejor que hables para checar que haya autorización ya. It's okay to do that, because you're just making sure you're being taken care of. Now, those of you that are assistants and your person that you're working with, as a side note, I would write these things down. Ask Rosa, ask Miranda, if they have anything, so I can call and follow up with the client. Let's call, let's check. You're gonna have a surgery, well, let me have Amparo call and make sure that it's approved. It's okay to do that, because what are you doing with the relationship? You're making it better. You're making it more concrete. Okay, let's keep going. Back to the presentation. Inpatient hospitals, when you're admitted, you cannot be under observation, but if you're admitted, you're gonna pay $350 every time you're admitted to the hospital. Okay, so if you're in the hospital 5 times in a year and you're admitted 5 times, you're gonna pay $350 each time. Outpatient is simple. If you're in and out surgeries. As a senior, I've seen people get cataract surgery. I've seen people get cut and they get stitches. That's in and out surgery. Anytime you need a same day surgery, you walk in and out, that's outpatient. And it doesn't matter where you get it done, whether it's a doctor's office, whether it's a clinic, whether it's in the hospital. If it's in and out surgery, you only pay $150. That's all you're responsible for. You're not going to pay the 20% anymore. You're not going to pay these deductibles anymore. You're only going to pay $150. These are called co-pays. Isn't this exciting? A co-pay versus a percentage? It's much better to pay a co-pay instead of a percentage. Doctor visits. I've already explained this to you. Your primary care doctor is going to be your gatekeeper. This person is in charge of all your health care. They're going to refer you to your specialist visits. For all the things you may need, they're going to give you referrals. So there's no copay. But look at your specialist visits. You have to pay $20 for any kind of oncologist, rheumatologist, all the different types of services, you're going to pay $20. Turn the page. I'm on page 40, Marifed. Look at all these screenings. Bone mass for osteoporosis. There's prostate exams. There's obesity exams. There's woman exams. Look what the copay. What are you going to pay? $0. So remember, with Medicare, you're always going to have a 20%. You're always going to have these costs. But by joining Cigna HMO and you do preventive services, there's no copay. These companies want you to take care of your health, and if they can detect something before, it's better for you. We're on page 41 now, Maria Ortiz. Now, emergency care. This is life or death. You have to pick up the phone and call. You're not going to have time to go, well, let me go see if this ambulance is in network, and let me see if this nearest hospital is in network. You don't have time for all that. It's life or death. So you're going to pick up the phone, call 911, and this is what you're going to pay. Once it all gets finalized, you pay $140 for the ER. But what happens if you did an ER call, they pick you up, they take you, but they admit you to the hospital? Guess what? You don't pay $140 now. You have to pay the $350 for the inpatient hospital. No te van a cobrar este emergency care, te van a cobrar por estar internado. So if you're only under emergency care and you stay in emergency care, it's $140. Now, something that I really, really like, because I see that you like to go to Mexico to go visit your family. You tell me you go visit your family all the time in Monterrey, in San Luis, hasta Guadalajara. If you go to Mexico and you try to use your Cigna card, it's not going to work. You know that. Even if you have Medicaid, you're not going to get any help. But with the Cigna HMO plan, guess what happens? If you have an emergency visit in Guadalajara, you're going to pay your bills, and when you get back to the United States, get back to this area, you can bring those bills and submit, and I will help you do this. I will submit those bills with you, and they'll pay up to $50,000. We'll help reimburse you for some of the bills you paid out of your pocket. Up to $50,000. Okay? So this is a big deal for you, because since you like to go to Mexico a lot, I can really help you with those coverage. I can help you with that coverage. Any country. I just use Mexico because we're right here. But it's for any country. Okay? Urgent care. So Marifed, urgent care services it's simple. You're visiting family in San Antonio and you get sick all of a sudden. Runny nose, itchy eyes, coughing. There's a cough. Something happens to you. Sudden illness, that's an urgent situation. You can go to any urgent care and get seen, and what are you gonna pay? $25. Now, if you go to the emergency room and you get seen in an emergency room, what are you gonna pay? $140. So please understand, try to find an urgent care, it's only $40. So urgent care is simple, sudden illness. It's sudden illness, that's it. Emergency, life or death situation. Now, diagnostic services, labs, and imaging. I'm gonna make this simple for you. They have all kinds of x-rays, tienen el tubo que vas y te mareas. There's all kinds of things they do. Te inyectan, te dicen, no, vas a sentir como que quieres orinar. Whatever they do to you, you're gonna pay 0 to what's the most you're gonna pay everybody? $150. So whatever service you get, x-ray, MRI, CT, CAT scans, doesn't matter. Whatever diagnostic procedure or imaging you do, the most you're gonna pay with this Part C plan, Cigna HMO, is $150. But a lot of it is 0. The blood work is 0. Some of the x-rays are 0. But the more extensive MRIs, CAT scans, when they have to do more, it's gonna cost you a little bit more. But the most you pay on bottle is $150. That's very affordable. Remember, if you stay with this Medicare card, you pay the 20% and you pay deductibles. Hearing services, you pay $20 for the audiologist and you get coverage to get one hearing exam. Turn the page, we're on page 42. This is how Cigna works. The Cigna Medicare Advantage, they're gonna give you $400 to $1,800 to get a device per ear. Depends on the device. If you get a basic device, you pay $400. If you get a more advanced device, you pay $1,800. Depends on what you get. Can you get the $1,800 to have better device? You sure can. That's your choice. But if you can't afford it, I at least recommend you get the $400 ones. Okay? Now, dental. With these Medicare Advantage, remember, Medicare doesn't cover the dental. They don't cover the vision. But they're going to give you an allowance. And the allowance is $3,000. So if you go get cleanings, crowns, deep cleanings, you get a cavity taken care of. Once that dentist hits $3,000, it's going to come out of your pocket. And you're going to have to pay something. You're going to have to pay a little bit, up to $3,000. That's the allowance they're going to do for you. Okay, so please understand, this is just basic dental coverage, but it's better than nothing. Okay, so please understand. Now, if you qualify for Medicaid, they give you more. And I'm going to help you apply for Medicaid because I think you're in the income levels. But right now, let's just worry about how this plan works. Look at the maximum out of pocket, so it's $3,000, the maximum coverage. Don't say maximum out of pocket, this is the maximum coverage amount. So earlier you saw the dental, vision, hearing plans. Does it make any more sense? You know how this works? $5,000 per year. This is all just amounts that they're going to cover per year. Vision, there's no copay to get a diabetic screening. It's called retinopathy. If you go to a specialist to go get your eyes checked, it's a $20 visit because it's a specialist. Remember, Marifed, there's two kinds of specialists in the vision, ophthalmologist and an optometrist. Okay, there's two kinds. So the ophthalmologist is a doctor. The optometrist, they say is a doctor, but it's not a doctor. Now it's funny because I've been to vision at Shaw and different places here, and I've seen the optometrist, but they still don't call him doctor, and I'm like, I know better. But I'll let you say what you want to say. But, you know, I'm going to be honest with you, some of the optometrists that I've seen have been much better than the ophthalmologists that I've seen. So it all depends on the person you get. So I just want to make sure you understand there's two kinds of vision doctors. The one that is prescribed is the ophthalmologist, but it's a $20 visit nonetheless. They're going to give you $300 vision coverage on page 43. They're going to give you $300 for vision coverage if you need glasses. Now, Cecilia, I see that you like these Burberry glasses. Those are $500. Well, they're going to only cover $300. Okay? So you pay the difference. Now let's go on to mental health. Mental health is something very, very important to me because whether you know this or not, there's people that think schizophrenia and bipolar disease is what mental health. But no, depression. What about depression? My mom lived with my dad for 40 years, and when he died, she's still going through depression. She's not the same after my dad's death. She's not. So please understand that mental health covers many different things. Not just schizophrenia, not just bipolar disorders, but grief, stress, anxiety. Those are all forms of mental health. So if you're hospitalized because of this, Irma, you're going to pay $300, but this is different. You need to really make note of this. If you're hospitalized from 1 to 5 days, you pay $300, no matter, per day this time. Per day. If it's for mental health, you pay per day. Everybody see that? It's expensive. So if you're there 5 days, you're going to pay $500. I'm sorry, $1,500. Tell you my math. I'm mathematically challenged. But there's two kinds of doctors you can see. There's two kinds of ways to see a mental health expert. In group, has anybody seen a mental health about one topic? Any examples? You've never seen that? Anybody heard of Mothers Against Drunk Driving? What is, okay, in movies, but Mothers Against Drunk Driving, what do? They lost somebody because of a drunk driver. So what do? They sit in a circle, and what do? They talk about their loved ones. It's counseling in a group. What other counseling in a group do you see? Is there cancer survivor groups? Those are all counselors group sessions. That's what it means in group. AA is a form of group session. Then there's also one-on-one. You sit with the therapist, a counselor, one-on-one. No matter what, you're going to pay how much for this mental health? Zero. Zero. Why? But I want to make sure you explain the difference between group and individual sessions. You can do it one-on-one with the therapist, or you can do it in a group session with a group of people talking about one common thing. That is what we call mental health services. Okay, a lot of people don't like to talk about mental health services. It's very private. But if you get it out of them, and sometimes if you become familiar with the medications, you'll start to see, you know what, this person's taking mental health stuff. So, or is seeing a therapist, is seeing somebody. Skilled nursing facility is simply 24-hour nursing care, Maria Polo. The first 20 days, unfortunately, you have to pay $20 a day for days 1 through 20. Now, if you're going to go and stay there for days 21 through 100, you've got to pay $214 a day. I like to share stories. My father-in-law is going to go get all these screws pulled out of his leg in Houston, and we asked that they transfer him to a skilled nursing facility if he doesn't want to go, because he thinks we're putting him in a nursing home. But skilled nursing is simply where they take care of your problem and make sure you're okay for 20 days. Okay? But the story I told you, see, I like to tell stories, because what does it do to you? You remember more. You remember what this is talking about. Rehab, there's 4 types. Cardiac, there's heart, there's 2 types of heart. That says heart, an intensive heart, and then there's pulmonary, which is your lungs, and then there's therapy for occupational therapy. If you're not sure what occupational, there's 6 things that we do every single day. You bathe, you eat, you toilet, dress, and there's 2 more. Occupational therapists help you get back to normal. They want to help you get back to your normal. Okay? That means if you had a stroke and you can't talk anymore, that therapist is going to try to get you talking again. If you can't use your right arm, that physical therapy, that therapist is going to try to help you. So they're going to just try to help you, but look at the costs. If it's for the heart, it's $10. If it's for the lungs, it's $10 for the therapist, but if it's for doing the 2 out of 6 things, just doing regular life, it's $30 a day. $30 a visit. Let's turn to page. Physical therapist and speech, they're also expensive items. $30 each time you go see a speech therapist. Why would you have to see one? Again, after a stroke, after a heart attack. All right, ambulance. When you made that 911 call, here it is. How much is it going to cost you? Everybody? $250. How much was it to be in the ER? Do you remember how much was it? $140. Does everybody understand how this works for ambulance? Okay, so you're going to pay the $250 for the ambulance and the $140 for the ER. If you're admitted, you don't pay the 140, you pay the 300 now. Let's go on, transportation. So for those clients that Maria Polo mentioned that they don't have anybody, nobody answers their phone, and so that person can use this transportation benefit. They need to call 3 days in advance, but they get 61-way trips. So if you help them set the appointment 3 days in advance, they're gonna take the client to the doctor appointment, and they have to set up 2 ways. To and from, they've gotta set up 2 appointments. Don't make the mistake. Amparo, have you helped people do that? Is it pretty easy to do, or sometimes it's frustrating? Pretty easy to do. Thank you for sharing that. It's an easy process, but make sure you make the call 3 days in advance with any carrier, whatever carrier you're enrolling. Now, look at Part B. There is a difference, Marifed, from the Part B drugs. Part B drugs and Part D drugs. Part D, Marifed, was for what? Part D drugs are what? You get a prescription. What about your Part B drugs? How do you get those administered? How are Part B drugs administered? Everybody should know the answer. Yes, so they're administered where? In a doctor's office. They're infusions administered in doctor's offices. Part B drugs are infusions. Part D drugs are orally. They take them oral. Okay? Look at the examples. Medicare Part B, chemo, radiation. You're going to pay the 20% for this benefit. Not many insurance carriers will give you a lot of help for the Part B portion. Not Part T, because it is expensive. But there is help. What was it called, that ceiling? What was that thing called? What was the ceiling called for a client? Maximum? Everybody, what was that ceiling called? Maximum out of pocket. The maximum out of pocket is going to protect them from these expensive Part B infusions. Okay, for this carrier, it was $3,000. Does everybody understand how this works? I've gone over a lot of benefits. So imagine the client you have has done 2 of everything, and they add up both times. They went twice for this, twice for this, twice for this, twice for this, twice for this. If it adds up to what amount? $3,400. If it adds up to $3,400, what happens? The client no longer pays what? Nothing. What is this for? Part A and Part B only. Part D is different. Does everybody see, again, the explanation of the summary of benefits? How I constantly use this card. How I'm constantly giving examples. Let's go to Part D now. Let's go to the Part D portion. Before I let you go to page 122. Part D, we're almost done. I know it's over time. Sorry, if you need to go, it's okay.
No, fine.
Part D. So, Irma, if you don't mind reading that, please. Part D at the very top.
122, right?
Page 122.
Starting in 2025, the prescription drug stages will be reduced from 4 stages to 3 stages. The coverage gap stage will be eliminated, and the most you will pay out of pocket for your covered Part D prescription drugs will be $2,000. Part D prescription drug coverage is based on a calendar year, and you may not enter all stages.
Continue.
Stage 1, deductible stage. During this stage, if your plan has a deductible, you usually pay the full cost of recovered Part D prescription drugs up to the deductible amount. If your plan does not have a Part D deductible, you will start in the initial coverage stage. Once you reach the deductible amount, you enter the initial coverage stage and pay a copay or coinsurance.
Okay, everybody understand the deductible. All these carriers you see up here, you will learn which ones do and which ones don't. And remember, it doesn't, just because some do doesn't mean it's doomed, that it's a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. There's new things that are gonna help them. Keep going, please, Irma.
Stage 2, initial coverage stage, up to $2,000. During this stage, the plan stays its share of the cost, and you pay a copay or coinsurance for each covered Part D prescription drug you fill into your out-of-pocket drug costs reach $2,000 for the year. Once you reach $2,000, you enter the catastrophic coverage stage.
Keep going.
Stage 3, catastrophic coverage stage through the end of the year. If in this stage you pay $0 copay for each covered Part D prescription you fill.
If they hit the 2,000, they don't pay anymore for prescriptions. This is gonna be your people that are on expensive medications. Okay, it's not gonna be everybody. If your client is taking all generics, they're never gonna hit the 2,000. Okay, it all depends on the medication they take. Okay? Turn the page. If they do home delivery for pharmacy, just so you know, there is more savings if you enroll them in delivery to the house. How many of you saw CVS and Walgreens closing all these stores? Y'all heard about it. In Harlingen, they already closed the CVS. Walgreens about to close 1,200 stores. Why? Prescription drug costs, it's no longer a business for, they're not making as much money anymore. They're trying to bring the cost down for the American people. So what is the U.S. government doing? They're telling these people, the prescription manufacturers, you have to pay more, man, stops. You're killing the people with the costs. So now they have to pay more out of their pocket. And so a company, if you're on the hook for more, like these companies, they have to reduce benefits. Things have to change. So this whole balance is gonna change. So mail order has become very popular. That's why Jeff Bezos got in Amazon. It's just easier for me to ship it to you. I don't need a building, I don't need a CVS or a Walgreens, and I can still make good money. And so that's why CVS and Walgreens are closing so many stores. It's not a profitable business anymore. Turn the page. So look at this right here, page 126. I love this page. If it's all caps, look at number circle 1. Find the circle 1. If it's all caps, what kind of drug is it? Brand name. If it's lowercase, it's? Everybody see that? Okay, drug tier. If it has a number, 1, 2, 3, or 4, look at the requirements. It says Part B or Part D, so it's going to have either a B next to it or a D next to it. Look at the PA, prior authorization. Look at QL. This drug has quantity limits. Have you ever noticed those drugs where they ask you for your ID? I need your ID. And you only get 10 days of this. You only get 7 days of this. You only get 30 days of this. It's limits on purpose. These are addicting drugs. So they have limits of how much you can get every time you go. Step therapy. You need to understand that every insurance carrier is going to do this. And what is step therapy? You must take the generic prescription first before you get the brand name. A lot of clients, some clients go nuts about that. No, es que mi doctor dijo esto, es que whatever it is, if the doctor wants to send an authorization form for the client to the company asking for permission to use a brand name, it can be done. But step therapy, all carriers are going to ask you to take generics first. Does everybody understand? Okay? And of course, vaccines. Then turn the page. This is a short list. This is not the entire list. And the actual application is on page 139, 140, page 141. Here's the actual application. Okay? Next week when I see you, I'm going to go to page, man, this is so new. Go to page 47 right quick, 147, where it says stop in the name of the, you need to read. It says read and sign below. Read it to the client. You will get so good at reading this, you won't read word for word. Have you noticed that when I teach this, have I read anything? At the beginning, you may read, but when you get enough clients in you, you're just going to talk. You're going to get to the point where you just give examples. You're going to get straight to the point. Inpatient hospital, you're hospitalized. You're admitted, and you're going to pay $300. And I just went one at a time, and I just talked about every single thing with an example. When I get to the application, you must read these things for them. On the bottom of the page, this is where you put last name, first name, phone number, relationship street. This is an authorized. This is power of attorney. Turn the page. This is the part that's different. Ethnicity, race, gender identity, sexual orientation, what the heck? This is the first time I see this in an application. I've never seen this in one. Turn the page. What does all that matter? It's health insurance, but I guess it does. Page 151. Do they have Braille, large print, audios, data CDs? Do you work? Your primary care physician? So look at all these chronic conditions on the bottom. Turn the page. Email. So if you give an email, they pay the client for giving emails. Turn the page. So they pay you. On page 155, always check something off on 155. I'm going to go over this again in detail. Look at page 157. This is yours, our agent use only. And the reason why I'm going to go this application, because where it says SEP, I'm going to go over that box for you. Turn the page. Look at all of these, page 159. These are all the different reasons to get in that you have to know. What is AEP? What is LEC? What is SNP? What is LCC? Turn the page. What is CDC? What is PAC? What is RUS? What is PAC? What is Inc? What is law? You have to learn all these things. So I'm going to go over these with y'all next time. I was going to start rapping, but then Mary Ortiz would look at me funny.
For all the carriers, it's the same?
All the carriers, it's all basically the same information. So this is the application. I didn't go through it 100%, but I now went over time. But I'm going to thank you for letting me finish this part. But the most important thing I want you to remember is the summary of benefits, how I presented the plan. I said authorization over and over again, referral over and over again. I always go over the copay. I always ask, tell me how much was the copay? Tell me this, tell me that, because the more you ask, the better. Now, if you have a talker on your hands, do you want to ask every single time for something? No. You need to learn who you can ask questions and how many questions you can, because there are people that talk way too much. There are people that that want to talk to you for hours. Have you already experienced that, Maria Polo? Yeah? And unfortunately, you have to learn to say, I'm sorry, I have to get going because I have another appointment in 30 minutes. But I will see you soon. You will hear from me. I will be calling you to check on you when you get your card. I will be calling you to help you set up your appointments. I will be calling to just check on you. It's okay to say that and then be on your way.
Por ejemplo, sí, bueno, no sé si va a tomar stories, pero sí, una que tiene 30 horas para las personas que se sienten solas, que puedan hablar con alguien sobre su vida. Estaba explicándole a un cliente eso y empezó a llorar porque dice que él va a trabajar todavía porque él quiere hablar con gente.
Sí.
Entonces que eso para él era muy, muy agradable y que sí lo iba a usar, que si no le daban más horas y ya le acababan.
So I said, you're never going to know which benefit's going to affect somebody, but you have to explain everything. I explained every benefit. I don't skip anything. That's compliance. To be compliant, I touched every single service in a summary of benefit. I didn't explain every plan, because I'm not going to sell them 5 plans. I'm only going to sell them 1. But I explained every benefit. You have to do the same. Explain the benefits. We are going to continue to get to the point where you're going to explain to the class. We're going to get into groups and explain, because I need to make sure you're comfortable. And at the beginning, it's okay to read. But I need you to understand you eventually have to get away from reading and just talk like normal, just having a conversation. But at the beginning, it's okay to read because it's scary. I know it's scary. I'll see you on Friday on the virtual calls. We have a live training. There's so many trainings. I'm sorry, but I just want you to be prepared and feel better. So we'll see y'all soon.